A movie that we've all enjoyed watching, which is Monsoon Wedding.
Chance to work with Meera and everybody else around, like Nasir Bhai, Lilek, Kulbhushan ji, everybody. बोलते ना चड्डी बनियान में literally shorts and vest में मैं वो audition दे के आया हूँ.
One film that I think is a classic for me is Khosla का Ghosla.
The Bakar didn't feel I was right for the role.
दिमाग साइड में रखकर देखने वाली फिल्म है आवारा पागल दीवाना.
It was too much fun. It was great fun shooting.
छोटा छतरी went to काजू कतरी and ताड़पत्री. यहाँ तक तो याद है. बाकी आप लोग मदद कीजिएगा थोड़ा.
Hey guys, this is Preeti Jhangiani.
This is Parvin Dabas
And you're watching us
on Bollywood Hungama.
Parveen, 1999 में आती है दिल लगी. I mean, of course, you've done that was your first film, right?
Correct.
Dil Lagi
Yeah.
was your first film, and was this on the plan? Did you always want to do films?
Yeah, I did want to do films.
Because you're a trained scuba.
वो तो बाद में आया.
अच्छा,
Trained
ये
scuba
सब
वगैरह
बाद
बाद में. I was a trained actor at that time.
जी.
But when I came to Bombay, I started getting a lot of ads. As an actor.
Yeah.
I would say because I was performing in those ads. I would not say as a model. But as an actor. So in those ads and 3-4 साल में उसी में फिर पैसे आ रहे थे. तब तक as an actor काफी पैसे नहीं देखे थे. You can say that. All of those कहानियाँ जो लोग होते हैं वो मेरे पास भी हैं, but I don't feel bad at all about them. That's why I never use the word struggle. So that was a great phase. You starting to make money, पैसा है इधर उधर घूम रहे हैं, ये पार्टी कर रहे हैं. So 3-4 साल वही हो गया. So when that offer came to me at that time, there was this thing of negative leading roles.
Yeah.
So that's how I took it, and it was with Sunny Bhai and Bobby and Urmila. It was a big film. So I said, yeah, let's go for it.
How was your experience?
It was a really good experience because Sunny Bhai was the director, and I think he's a really good director, and I think he should direct a lot more. So overall, and Bobby was really sweet and down to earth, very opening and welcoming. And I remember he was standing there for my first shot, and once I gave it, he came up to me and said, really good and glad to have you on board and everything. So I remember even Sunny used to give me a lot of good feedback. He was very happy, and he's somebody who doesn't talk too much. So that when he says something, he means it. So it was good for the first film to receive that kind of feedback and appreciation. So yeah, so it was a kind of a fun time, and I made some and there were some friends from London also, and a couple of who were in the film, and some people who are still friends to this day. So it was a great learning experience for the first film.
I want to jump from Dil Lagi all the way to a film that I'd like to say is one of the cult films. It's an art movie. It's a movie that we've all enjoyed watching, which is Monsoon Wedding.
Yeah.
For us, it's all of this.
Yeah, well, even for me, of course. Yeah, it is.
What does it mean for you? How important is this film for you in your life?
Very, very important. It defines me up for a lot, even up till now. From that point, and it was so amazing. First of all, working with Meera. I'm so glad she cast me and
felt like a tick, in your career.
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
And to so early in your career have that chance to work with Meera and everybody else around. Like Nasir Bhai, Lilek, Kulbhushan ji, everybody. So it was really like a family atmosphere, because I'll tell you, nobody knew when we were shooting that film that it's going to become a big film.
Yeah.
Even I remember, and I almost ended up not doing it because I almost ended up giving the audition because I was going somewhere for a shoot when the casting director, this lady Uma Dakuna, lovely lady, one of the most brilliant casting directors, and she called me up and said, listen, Meera is doing this film. It's a very small, budget film, and they said, can you come over for an audition? I'm doing it for, just 2 days, today and tomorrow. So I was on my way, I remember, to Baroda. I was in the gym at that time. When I got the call, I was in the gym and I was going to fly to Baroda in a couple of hours. Gym के बाद में घर जाके change करके Baroda जाने वाला था flight. So I said, listen, I would have loved to, but I don't know, because she was all the way in town. I was working out in Bandra, and I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to come and make it in time. I have a flight. So she's like, okay, no problem, next time. So as I was putting the phone down, I told myself, you idiot, this is Meera Nair. What the hell? Make it happen somehow or the other. So I immediately put the phone up. I said, you know what? I'll come directly right now and I'll make it anyhow. So I put it down, rushed out of the gym. Gari mein kaise bhi karke I rushed down to town. I was literally in my shorts and vest. बोलते ना चड्डी बनियान में literally shorts and vest में मैं वो audition दे के आया हूँ literally. So then I came back, rushed back again. Made my flight, just about made my flight, did the thing. So after some time, I got a call that, Meera's out of those auditions, Meera selected some auditions and which she will do personally as well in the second round. So I said, great. So when I went to meet her again at Uma's house, the first thing she asked me is, were you the guy in the, shorts and vest? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm sorry.
But that impression was there.
I was like, I'm really sorry. I was rushing from the gym and I had a flight, but I really wanted to do it, so I came rushing and everything. So so it again, I gave that audition with her and kind of understood the character. I've lived abroad as well, so I understood the character and so one day after a couple of months more, when they were doing it, I got the call. We want you to do this role. So I was ecstatic, and even the whole process, because even when initially it was supposed to be shot like a shadi film through a video camera, जैसे शादी की film shoot होती थी उस वक्त पे, but by the time they were shooting, they got some more money and it was shot on Super 16, which was a new thing at that time as well. It was a new format film, but a new format, so it had a little better look and everything, and they got a really superb cinematographer, a guy called Declan Quinn, who's one of the best over there. So it was really experience. And I remember Meera ji ki mummy, jinka naam Parvin hai, वो खाना बना के लेके आती थी. अभी भी मुझे याद है वो मटन वगैरह बना के लाती थी, for some of the cast, and we used to eat. So it's really like a family atmosphere. There's so much to learn, on how you can do a really good film sometimes on low money, and we did 2 weeks of rehearsals also. So for 2 weeks, everybody came together. We used to do some yoga. We used to rehearse the scenes, try it in different ways, and this and that. Nasir Bhai also had a workshop for 3-4 days. So I would say it was such an amazing experience to have as an actor who was just coming into the industry.
I think the unit working as a family was seen in the film, which is why because you all work together.
You can see that bonding, that rehearsal and everything, coming through.
And Meera Nair with this film probably brought out that how you can have great characters.
Yeah.
And oh my, the songs. From actually featuring Aaj Jaane Ki Zid Na Karo, which of course is a cult classic in itself, or the Sukhwinder Singh song, which is क्या गाना है, क्या गाने थे, क्या कमाल के characters थे. And Preeti, do you want to add something to this film?
Monsoon Wedding?
Yeah.
I think like everybody else, I saw it in the theatre only. I mean, at that time there was it was not going to be on TV, and I just remember it being like a festival. It was a continuous, and who doesn't love weddings? And they actually, I like the fact that the story had actually something that was not spoken about a lot.
True.
At that time, and I think that also captured a lot of people's interest.
So many layers to every character.
It had many layers,
and
it had a couple of stories woven into that shadi. So
it was amazingly written also by Sabrina Dhawan. And so it was overall such a beautiful film.
I remember
shot amazingly
thinking that it looked different.
Yeah, you could feel the winter, the wedding vibes.
Yeah, and it was also a real film, but entertaining. And it had so much of life into it.
Yeah.
Like real life. Which you feel, and people. The great thing is, people from all over the world identified with that film.
Right.
They feel, okay, we had an aunt like this, we have a chacha like this, our weddings are also like this, even though this was an Indian wedding. But they related it to it so much because, I traveled with the film through some film festivals, so we met people, even media from all over the world who were so taken in by it, and people
resonated.
Like we took it to the Venice Film Festival, and I was staying in this because at that point of time the film had not become big, so I was staying in this small little bed and breakfast. literally. In Venice, it's very expensive. So I was staying in one of the, wherever जगह मिल गई. Some people didn't even get space. यहाँ वहाँ रह रहे थे, कोई ship पे रह रहा था. So I got space before I booked in, on this small little bed and breakfast, and nobody knew me or anything. And Monsoon wedding का छोटा सा poster एक लगा हुआ था. बाकी बड़ी Hollywood films and this film and that film everywhere. And our film had this little poster, one poster in one place. Nobody knew us. But once the public screening happened, the public screening, and then we had a press screening, and we had even during the press conference, they were asking us, we didn't know, and we were walking back from the press conference to to Nasir Bhai's hotel to just sit for some time and some interviews, where I remember, some people started shouting, Bellissima, and हमने घूम के देखा, कौन है Hollywood star, कौन है, Tom Cruise है, कौन है, and they said, no, Monsoon wedding, Bellissima, Monsoon wedding.
Wow.
So all of a sudden we were just started looking at each other like, wow, people are recognizing us from this film as well. So that film just took off in Venice. Then I went back to my bed and breakfast. Some people there had also seen it, so they told the owner, "Oh, guy, this is the guy in the film and everything. Can we have it?" So that was the first, time we got that feedback, and from an international audience.
Yeah.
So it was, obviously it was a great feeling. And then any party or anywhere we went in Venice, वो दरवाजा खुल जाता था हमारी. या बोलते थे Monsoon wedding वाले आए, Monsoon wedding, oh come, welcome here.
Oh,
So it was a great, feeling at that time for that film to be recognized, and our hard work, because everybody had worked very hard. Everybody. So it was a culmination of that great collaboration, I would say.
How nice. One film that I think is a classic for me is Khosla ka Ghosla. What is this amazing madness? So much of real people.
I think
so
again,
much
reality.
Of reality.
Because it happens and it has happened.
I just met Anupam ji and Bamane Rani for Uchai. And when I looked at them, I said, I can't believe I'm sitting with Khurana Sahab and Khosla Sahab. And immediately Bamane Rani touched Anupam Kher and said, Uncle ji. But since we are talking about Khosla ka Ghosla, and the most important characters for me in any film was Khurana Sahab and Khosla Sahab.
नहीं था सर. बोलो एक डायलॉग. अंकल जी. Khosla.
That was it. And I remember, Parvin, there's a song that has all your dialogues in it. Have you got a chance to hear it? It's got Hold the Drink. So many things. Tell us your memory with this film.
It's a film I almost ended up not doing. so wow.
All good things in your life starts with
because the Bakar didn't feel I was right for the role. Like he thought, Monsoon very good looking guy, but not sure how much he can act. And if you see the character is very complex, layered, and he is a complex character. Father ke saath nahi banti hai ye wo. So there was a lot of things about the character which could have become negative. Though he's not a negative character, but in the Indian context, जब बेटे का बाप के साथ नहीं बनता है, तो वो ये सोच सकते हैं बेटा अच्छा नहीं है, right? Because otherwise तो वो हमारे सिनेमा में दिखाया जाता है कि so there were a lot of things which were risky also about how it was, and he wasn't sure I would be able to pull it off in terms of the character, and he was being very particular. And I knew his assistant director. Jatin called me. Jatin Ravasiya, I had worked with him on another film before that. उसका phone आया था कि नया director है दिबाकर, वो मिलना, हम casting कर रहे हैं, मैंने नाम suggest किया है. I said ठीक है, जब वो मैं meeting में, फिर वो गायब हो गए 3 महीने गायब हो गए, पता नहीं. तो वो 3 महीने बाद दोबारा phone आया. हाँ नहीं, थोड़ा सा बिजी हो गए थे और अभी आके मिल सकते हो आज कल में, आज ही आ जाओ, लाइक आज ही आ जाओ. मैंने कहा ठीक है, आज तो नहीं आ सकता, मैं कल आ जाऊँगा. और क्या हुआ, नहीं ऐसे. वो बाद में पता चला कि they had been through everybody and he didn't like anybody. He went through everybody and this and that. So whatever, so I went to him and he told me very frankly, मुझे नहीं लगा कि you can do the role, and लेकिन जितने बोला तो इसलिए मैं मिल रहा हूँ. So I said, okay, thank you जी.
बोलने के लिए बहुत शुक्रिया. Thank you so much.
आपने बड़ा आसान किया मेरे ऊपर बोल के. So he said, so I don't think, but I'll audition you. So I said, ठीक है, audition कर लो, उसमें क्या है? So he said, अभी ये line और ये अभी audition. So then I said, आपको अच्छा audition चाहिए या जल्दी audition चाहिए? He said, ये नहीं बोलेगा ना जल्दी. He said, नहीं, अच्छा चाहिए. अच्छा चाहिए तो मैं कल आऊँगा.
अच्छा.
Because he had given me some brief about the character. Like I said, it's not an easy character. If you see all the other characters, Khosla ji, Anupam ji, Boman ji, Ranbir, Vinay, they all had funny lines. This character didn't have funny lines. He had very few lines which were funny.
Yeah.
But it's a father-son relationship. When you look at that film, it's a father-son relationship. It's what the son is doing to get back the father's plot, जो वो खो चुके हैं. You know what I mean? Almost, and that's his life savings. So that is the crux of the story. So if you look at it, it is that crux is serious. And if you see, the beauty of Khosla is कि कभी भी किसी scene में वो funny से serious हो जाता है. So to capture those and that character and everything was not easy. So that's why I said मुझे थोड़ा सा सोचने में कल आता हूँ. He said ठीक है. He gave me some scenes and everything. मैं कल वापस गया. अगले दिन वापस गया. And we were sitting and he was there and Jaideep Sahani was the writer. Was a brilliant writer. So we sat down and he said okay, put the script aside. We're going to do an improv. So he decided जो lines दिए थे वो तो करने ही नहीं. Scene जो दिए थे वो करने नहीं. He was trying to push me and test me. I said fine. So he gave me a situation. This is this and this and we're going to just improv.
बस yes and करो.
नहीं बस improv करो. Improvise. And he didn't give any lines also. Right. He just gave a situation. So I said ठीक है. So we started, whatever lines. And I think we went on for 5 minutes. Just, scene kept going this and that, back and forth. It kept going for 5 minutes. And when we ended, he said, up till now I didn't see the character like this. But now this is how I see the character.
Oh.
And I want you to do it. So I said, अब मैं सोच के बताऊंगा. But so that is how that happened. And
but yeah, you're right. What a complex character now to think of it, because he wants to go abroad.
People focus too much on the name sometimes. Okay, he had a funny name. I never thought about that at all.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that it was part of the character, because he felt, yaar, baap ne kyun rakha ye naam? It was an embarrassing name for him. That's why he wanted to change it, right? So, but if you see, like I said, there's a deep father-son bond, a misunderstanding in the beginning. जो आप बाद में देखो, जब वो वापस जाते हैं प्लॉट पे खाली करने के बाद, and जब अनुपम जी गिरते हैं, वो जाके पकड़ते हैं उनको. And one more point, that's the graph over there. But one thing which happened in between that scene, where वो wait कर रहे होते हैं. That's what I'm saying is the how the pendulum shifts in every scene. कि hold the drink वो कर रहे हैं रणबीर के साथ. And when I come and I start saying, मैं तो अमेरिका जाऊँगा, and that whole scene starts, अमेरिका जाएगा कि मैं तो जाऊँगा छोड़ के, and all of that. At one point, and Kiran ji also comes in to stop. At one point, Anupam ji almost falls back into his chair, stumbles, and I just naturally in the character went to help him, and he stumbles. He said, "ठीक है," and he gets up and I say, okay, and that kind of scene kind of ends there with us walking off. So after that scene, Deepakar came to me, right after that shot, he had okayed it. He came to me and said, जो मुझे problem था इस character के साथ, you just totally fixed that, because up till now I was worried that people wouldn't like this character, but you just showed that the character still cares for his father, no matter what happens.
True. And I think that's exactly when I say that, that there are grey characters that you choose, that वो बुरा नहीं है, या फिर वो सिर्फ अच्छा नहीं है. We all go through ups and downs. There are times in our life when we are selfish, unknowingly, knowingly, but होता है. And to bring that to life in a film, where you do have your dreams that you want to fulfill, and yes, you've got a dad, but
absolutely. So,
मुझे एक और scene याद आ गई when you guys are in the rickshaw and suddenly you realize that yes, we've managed, and then that celebration, that small celebration, the euphoria. Man, it just brings out the happiness
Yeah.
in the audience watching it.
And I still remember that was like, you know, literally a shot which we just did in 2 minutes.
Wow.
Because we had just finished a whole long day and वो रिक्शा कहीं किसी को बोल के रुकवाया हुआ था वो उसमें वो एक दो शॉट में 3-4 बार घुमाया और वो हमने किया. But there was a real bonding between the cast again here, you know, because there were so many difficulties in the beginning of making of that film, which almost it stopped a couple of times in between.
Yeah.
You know, once you know, the producer Savita Raj Hiramat, she had a partnership with somebody which kind of you know almost was. You know, so anyway, there was a problem with funds at that time. You know, and she still put it together. I have to give her hats off to her and you know her husband Raj Hiramat. They really pulled it off. You know, they kept it together. Anupam ji kept everybody together. The spirits up. You know, we used to play different games, word games, and that. You know, just different things to keep the spirit up. In between, Deepakar's mother-in-law also expired. You know, so there was a couple of days off. So there was a couple of things in that thing. But from the beginning, you know, we had 3-4 days rehearsal also. There was a feeling that there's something special about this film. It wasn't ki oh bahut badi, you know, but there was something real and special about it. You know, you could feel that.
True.
You know, so but like I said, what even bonded even more everybody was the fact that it got made.
Yeah.
You know, that the fact that it finally got finished, and of course then there was some issue with the rights which the producer again had to deal with. Everybody thought, और या तो वो फैलाते थे मार्केट में या जो भी people like to you know put something down that oh film बिक नहीं रही है. It was never a matter of that. People were always ready to buy it.
Yeah.
The people when they saw it they loved it, and there were a couple of people who always backed it. I have to I think mention B.S. Gautam ji, who was always behind the film from the very beginning, who pushed it. A couple of other people, Mr. Hari from Delhi, who actually I think provided some funds to finish it, who really believed in the film when they saw it. So it was just a matter of the rights were not clear. So once the producer, and I have to hand it to Savita ji, she took 2 years. Somebody else might not have been able to, you know, sustain for that long and just go after it. But she managed to do that, get the rights clear. And then, of course, UTV picked it up, and you know, it became a big success. It's still running, you know, on your OTT platforms and everything. And whenever it runs, I get calls and messages. Oh, you know, teri film dekhi, and you know all of that, because it has that repeat value.
I can't begin to tell you that I want to go and watch the film right now. Like, up feeling aa rahi hai. I'm sure people who are watching us on this interview and listening to this conversation in depth are like, we have to go back and figure out what was my favorite scene, because there are 10,000 favorite scenes. I'm going to move on to a film like this, which had some great dialogues, and I don't know what was the thought behind it, because like दिमाग साइड में रखकर देखने वाली फिल्म है आवारा पागल दीवाना. Preeti, my first question to you is that just like Parvin, who had a complex character in a funny film, not many funny dialogues, but still stuck to his role. You have the same thing with Awara Paagal Deewana. Everybody around you was just funny, including your brother.
Yeah.
But you had to just be Preeti.
Yeah, Awara Paagal Deewana is a film that's much loved and much criticized. But at the end of the day, who's to criticize it, because it was a super success.
Yeah.
And again, I would say that was an ensemble cast, and what I remember the most was the fun we had. It was too much fun. It was great fun shooting, and everyone in the film is still a friend because it was too much fun. And I would recommend Mr. Johnny Lever to everybody to have in their film, on their film set.
Chota Chhatri.
Because he imitates every person on the set behind their back, and it's hilarious.
But did it like
you know the production manager and the producer and the actors and everybody, like he's brilliant. So yeah, we had a great time on the set.
But did you have this itch that, you know, oh, I'm not getting any funny dialogues, even I want to explore?
We shot in some beautiful locations, Muscat in Oman, in Philadelphia, you know, we really were having a really good time, and I don't think I thought so much about it. See, it didn't pretend to be a serious film with anything serious.
Yeah.
It was from the word go. It was a crazy film. So everybody had to be their crazy best, and yeah, it was the only soft kind of emotional part of the film.
Yeah.
which again I think the audience really appreciated. So,
Do you remember? Do you have your favorite dialogues? Because for most of us, we can like think about 10 dialogues from this film and like go on and on. Do you remember a famous dialogue from this film?
I remember the whole Chota Chhatri scene with Aftab when I was hiding behind the curtain and they were doing the scene, and it was really difficult to stand there and not laugh because they were improvising constantly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was it. I can't remember.
The Chota Chhatri went to Kaju Katri and
Yeah.
Taad Patri.
Yeah.
यहाँ तक तो याद है. बाकी आप लोग मदद कीजिएगा थोड़ा. वाह वाह.
Yeah, I can't remember right now, but yes.